All right, this is part 2 about tapping into your inner knowing. How can you tap into that inner knowing? I'm going to start by saying it is like unlearning everything you've been taught. Welcome to the Staying Wild and Well podcast. My name is Rin, and my greatest accomplishment is being alive. Here we talk about life's journey, the ups, the downs, the in-betweens, all things mental health, body, mind, and spirit. We share wild stories and keeping your wild alive while staying well. People are scared of this inner knowing conversation. Maybe it sounds juju to you. It really isn't as scary as it feels. However, if you are an individual who wants to feel safe in what you know, this is where it can get a little bit intimidating because we need to start to ask ourselves the real questions that come from our soul. This is like beyond what you've been taught, right? Like get married, have children, get the career, retire. It's like we are so beyond that in society. I think we're in a really good place where now different is okay and it is more socially accepted. But I think beyond that, we haven't necessarily been able to ask ourselves the questions that are deep within. And often we avoid these questions because it means that we have to face our truth. And sometimes we've created a life that goes against what our inner knowing speaks to us about. We've created a life that is against the truth that is within us. So today, I'm going to provide you with some questions. I've written it down in my notebook, as I do, and I want you to really think about it. I was reading this book recently called Bittersweet, such a great book. I'll leave it in the show notes for you. And even she spoke to some of the questions that you have to ask yourself, like, have you gone from a state of deep melancholy, this longing within yourself, and you're able to look at some of those hard questions and dive in deep into you and be truthful and honest with yourself. And once you know this truth and you know this honesty, are you able to live your life with intention? Are you able to live from this space? So we're going to dive in. The first thing you need to do to start to practice your inner knowing is to just practice understanding that feeling within, knowing that it doesn't come from a space of the mind, it comes from within here. Society wants us to live from a space of the mind. It wants us to understand things. It wants us to be logical about things. It wants us to be able to ask questions. And these are all great. Using the mind has been of great benefit. We are human. We have a mind. It's fabulous. But your inner knowing comes from a place of feeling. It's like, let's do something basic. Somebody says, "Hey, do you want to come out to this birthday party?" Inside you're like, "Oh, like you just feel like you don't want to. You want to stay cozy, you want to stay home." But your brain is like, "Oh, so-and-so's going to be there. I can't miss out on this. Oh, if I don't go, people are going to say XYZ." Like the mind starts to curate a story that then translates into your decision making. And then you use the mind to make the decision and you didn't listen to that knowing, which is kind of like your intuition in many ways as well. What is the feeling within that drives you forward? So you could start to practice that when you are asked a question or when life is moving, tapping into a feeling versus what the mind is saying. Another way to practice this that I get my clients to tune into a lot of the times is the emotion you are feeling, whether that's sad, angry, mad, happy, joy, like whatever, grief. Where does that feeling show up in the body? Is your stomach tense? Does your heart feel tight? Do you have a headache? Tuning into the feeling of the body is teaching you the ability to tap into the inner knowing and the senses that move throughout our bodies and inside our soul. Okay, so another question you can ask yourself is, why do I believe the things I believe? So whether that be a religion or a culture, or you're following a spiritual leader, or there's an artist that you follow, or a musician that you're really passionate about, and what they exhibit into the world, what they share with the world is something that you consume and take in. Maybe it's a social media influencer. Why do you believe the things you believe? It's not just taking that belief and hearing them, even myself speaking right now. I don't want you to just take it and be like, yeah, I agree. Why do you agree? These are the types of questions I want you to ask yourself. So, what you could do at this time is write down some of the people that you follow. May that be an influencer, maybe that be a religious leader, a spiritual leader, maybe that be an artist. Why do you follow this individual? And why do you believe what they are sharing? Why is it truth for you? And if you notice that you have questions around it and maybe that it's not entirely true, why isn't it entirely true? Can you dive into that? What do you long for within yourself? There is this feeling, a longing that can't be described. What is it that you're longing for? Is it love? Is it connection? Where did that longing come from? Has it been there since you were a young child? Is it because you're lacking in your life? Is it something that you can only provide to you? What do you deeply long for? Another great question is, what is your mission? Living here on earth as a human, what is your mission? Do you have a mission? Does life feel mundane and that you're just living? Can you find a mission? Is there something that you want to do to better the world? Asking these questions can be really challenging because you might come to notice you're not living in alignment with the mission that you feel like you have within. And that will cause an eruption inside to make you want to change, to make things want to be a little bit different. It might be the fire underneath you that makes you leave that job that you've been working for 5, 10, 15 years because you realize it's not in alignment with the mission and the things that you want to do in this lifetime. Another question would be, what is the kind of music you listen to? Why do you listen to it? Like, I know for myself, if somebody asked me, what kind of music do you listen to, Sabrina? I'd say, everything. I listen to everything. I listen to a little bit of everything. I love some jazz music. I love some blues. I love some rap music. I love some 90s pop. I love some indie. Like, I love all kinds of music. But what kind of music do you listen to? When do you turn it on? How does it make you feel? What emotion does it evoke? How does it change your state? This is, again, the ability to understand yourself and this deep knowing when you turn on a certain music, how you're going to feel and what is that feeling, that internal feeling. Does it help you reach into your melancholy, your sadness, and your sorrow? Does it make you feel a sense of love, peace, joy? Why do you listen to the things you listen to? The pain that you have endured. Does the pain that you've endured allow you to connect to empathy? And does it allow you to see people in a different light? Are you allowing yourself to connect to people from a deep space of empathy because of what you've experienced and what you have felt? Can you assign meaning to the things you've gone through? Has your brain assigned meaning to the things that you've gone through in your life and you don't even realize it? And this is a really big question because often we've gone through things when we are younger and we have connected it to a story, and then we are later on living our lives and this story is playing in the background, this meaning that we assigned to a situation, and we didn't even realize we've done it. Again, these are the deep questions that bring us down to the darkness that we don't always want to face because we realize, oh my God, I'm living life from this space and this meaning that doesn't even match up with who I am. I'm living from a space that's not even my current reality anymore. Do you even want children? These are questions. These are big questions. Do you want children? What does your career look like? What are your career goals? And this may sound very superficial, but also sometimes we just have children because our family wanted us to have children, or because it was the thing to do, or because we thought it would fulfill us. What is your purpose for having children? What are your career ambitions? Are you living in a career? Are you living and working a career that allows you to grow as a person? Does growth matter to you? Do you want to just do a 9 to 5 and come home and rest? Do you even want to retire? I don't know. When I think about retiring, I'm like, oh gosh, like I don't think I ever want to retire. I want to have like adventure and relax, but like I have a lot to do here. I love meeting people. I love connecting. It's not something that I'm actively working towards. And I'm like, I can't wait to retire. Is that something you're looking forward to? These are deep questions to ask yourself. What kind of energy are you attracted to? What are the people you want to surround yourself with? What energy do they provide you with? Is it a good feeling? Do you like being surrounded by people that make you question yourself, that make you question life, that create more of a drive within you, that help you grow? What is the energy you want to surround yourself with? And are you surrounding yourself by that energy currently? Another question is like something as simple as like, do I want to travel? Do I like traveling? And that's really important too, because in relationship, in the next partnership you get into, do they like to travel? Is that something they want? Again, these are all things that help you live your life with intention, deep intentionality. Do you even want to get married? Does that matter to you? Or is just being, can you fall so deeply in love? And that is like this marital commitment outside of paperwork. Like, what is it within yourself that makes you want to get married? Is it because somebody told you you should? Or does it feel like a spiritual ceremony, a uniting connection where you get to celebrate love? What does it mean to you? These are deep questions because we often have beliefs and we don't even know why we believe what we believe. We just do because we always have. What is the meaning behind what you are moving through? What is the meaning behind what you believe? Why do you follow the spiritual leaders that you follow or the teachers that you follow? What do they even represent to you? These are the types of questions that help you tap into your inner knowing, because it's a feeling that just drives you forward because you've built such a strong foundation and a connection with self. How do the lessons that you've gone through shape who you are? Can you look at some of the hardest moments of your life and see the lessons behind it and know that there was something that it was meant to teach you? And are you able to take those teachings and move through your life? Can you take deep grief, deep pain, and deep sorrow and use it as a drive to move through the next chapter of your life? Like a great example of this is that, I mentioned in videos prior that I had fallen for someone when I fell out of my marriage, and that person had instilled so much worthiness within me. And when it didn't turn out, or it wasn't going to turn out because, all kinds of reasons, you'll have to look back at different videos. Regardless, I took that and I was like, I'm going to take that worthiness that this person was showing me and make sure that I live my life with intention and with self-worth, and that no matter what, I'm always staying connected to my self-worth. And I could take this lesson and have it drive forward for years to come in my life. There are things that you could take away from the traumas and pain that you have felt and the sorrows. Have you taken that? Can you see those gifts in your life? Are you okay with the way you are being loved? The way people love you in your life, is that acceptable to you? Is that the way you want to be loved? Is that the way you want to be seen? Is that the way you want to be connected to? This is just a couple of questions. Okay, sorry, this is like 10, 15 questions that I've laid out that I'll make sure that I number clearly in the show notes for you to consider. Because tapping into your inner knowing is moving beyond safety. It is moving beyond what you've been taught. It is tuning into the trust within yourself. It is asking questions within your mind and seeing if it feels true to you. Tapping into your inner knowing is beyond the mind. It is something that you feel. It is like, for me, it is connecting to my spirit, is connecting to my truth. It is connecting to something I feel inside because I know. And I know that that feeling is not instilled in everyone easily. And that feeling has developed within me because of the things I've gone through in my life, and how beautiful I see life, and how precious I see life, and how I see us all connected as one. And a part of those explorations is also being able to ask yourself the hard questions, to tune in to your own truth without any external forces influencing how you feel. and just knowing it because you know it. So start with these questions. If you have any questions, you are always welcome to ask me. Tune into you. I encourage you. And if you feel scared and you're nervous, keep going deeper and deeper and deeper, because what emerges on the other side, that feeling of truth, that feeling of your inner connection, it's going to be what pulls you through so much of this life. And it is such a gift. There is so much freedom, so much peace when understanding how life inside of you works and how we are all a part of the collective and we are all one.